Good morning, everybody. Welcome to season 9, episode 32 overall, 472 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric products. And you can also check out their Cadillac products as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Pomay sent you, and you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been a proud sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show since September 2022. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is also brought to you by Wellington Brewery at 950 Woodlawn Road West in Guelph, Ontario. Check out wellingtonbrewery.ca and also make sure you try a Welly on, and please remember to drink responsibly as well. I hope everyone's doing well on this Boxing Day holiday here in Canada on Thursday, December 26, 2024. Want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah as well. I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is his first appearance on my show, and he is the Senior Director of Operations and the alternate governor of the National Lacrosse League's back-to-back world champion Buffalo Bandits. His name is Scott Loffler, and we're going to bring him on right now. Good morning, Scott. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and happy holiday season.
Same to you.
Thank you so much for coming on. You got a busy week ahead of you, especially with the big home opener and the banner raising ceremony this Saturday night against the Rochester Nighthawks.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Obviously we did it last year as well, but doing two in a row here is pretty special, and it doesn't happen very often in the league. So we'll be able to enjoy that again this Saturday, and it's going to be a packed house. It's sold out, 19,000. So it's going to be quite the atmosphere, and yeah, we're looking forward to it.
I have to ask you this, Scott. I just started doing this show 5 years ago, and about 3 years ago, Pat Gregor from TSN, who's an analyst, and John Gerkler, your longtime public address announcer, or play-by-play radio announcer, they came on my show as guests. And to be honest, 3 years ago, I didn't really follow lacrosse. And once Pat and John had me come down to a game in Buffalo, and then I saw a game in Hamilton, I've been hooked on the game of the National Lacrosse League. I think it's amazing, and I really enjoy the product.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a good product. I'm not just speaking about Buffalo. I mean, across the league, it's a great product. It's very family friendly. Um, it's different than the other leagues and the other sports because there's a lot more going on than just the game itself, which makes it a little bit more entertaining for fans. And it's a kind of a hidden gem. Unfortunately, the media deals we've had in the past, they're all behind a paywall, and we're working on getting that outside the paywall, as you see with NLL Plus, and it's just going to expose more people to the game. And once it gets out there, and those non-endemic lacrosse fans start watching this and eating up the sport, I think it's gonna blow up. So we're really at a league level, we're really trying to get the game on linear television, outside of that paywall, and once we achieve that, I think it's going to pay huge dividends.
You guys do a great job with the CW23 network, and also the Bet 1520 with John and Steve Burmo, who I had on my show recently. I wanted to ask you this, Scott. What makes Banditland so special?
I don't know if there's one thing. It's a recipe, right? That and granted, we've been around for 30 plus years, so we have that longevity and that the experience of doing things the right way. And it's everything. It's Swenny. I think it starts with Swenny, to be quite honest with you. He makes that place jump. And once he gets the crowd going and now, like, I hate to say it, but like the fans have kind of taken over, they already know what to do before Swenny even says anything. So, Swenny definitely helps and he started a lot of those chants and to get things going. But, Swenny, I think it starts with Swenny. And then, we have the Bandits, we have, Rax, our mascot, and then, just the fans themselves. Like the fans are they're amazing. And everyone says their team has the best fans in sports. You can say that all you want, but the Bandit Land is just something unlike anything else. And when it comes down to it, I'd put our fans against any fan base in any sport, period. And they're really the ones who get that place going and get it rocking and it's an extra man for the guys, really. So like I said, it's a combination of things and I can't pinpoint one thing, but it's a perfect recipe.
I've been to many sports leagues and stuff like that, but I find your game presentation is outstanding, and you guys make it a big event. And I think the reason why it's so successful in Buffalo is because the players are so accessible to the fans, and they can relate to the players because it's not like the NFL. And I just find it's a combination of hockey and basketball, and I just think you guys do a great job. Obviously, Chris, who's been your public address announcer since day one, and then Ali Brady does a great job. Everybody from this organization has been wonderful. And for me, who's starting a new career into radio media, you guys were the first lacrosse team to give me media opportunities. And I really want to say thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. And like I said, not to say other teams don't, but I think we do things the right way, and we try to do it professionally and make it first class all around. So yeah, I mean any media person who wants to come to a game and check it out and promote us, we'll be happy to give you a credential.
And one of my friends, he's from Buffalo. He's got his own podcast show. His name is Robbie Schneider, and he's a huge Bandit fan too. And it's just like a big passion. Like I know everybody talks about Buffalo being Bill's Mafia, but I think Bandit Land's just as big. And you guys just do just such a great job. And I'm trying to get more people to come down to the games because I say once you go to a Bandits game or a lacrosse game, you'll be hooked on the sport.
Yeah, and you bring up the Bills. Like, if you were to compare our fan base, our season ticket holder base, like there's a bigger crossover between the Bills and the Bandits as opposed to the Bandits and the Sabres. So it doesn't surprise me that knowing Bills Mafia and how passionate they are, like I said, we have more Bills fans that come to our games than Sabres fans, and it doesn't surprise me that Bandit Land is the way it is. Like our fan base is very similar to the Bills fans. So yeah, they're passionate, they're loyal, good and bad. They're gonna let you know, and which is great, which is what we want. So we couldn't be happier with our fan base.
Regardless, Buffalo is such a great sports town. And I was at the Sabres Red Wings game a couple weeks ago at Bandit Land, and it was just so great to see Chris and Brett and the Bandits and the Bandettes. You guys just do a really great job, and hopefully, eventually, the Sabres will get their product going. One thing I wanted to ask you is. How excited are you guys about the home opener with the new scoreboard and the new roof and I think a new PA system too from the sounds of it when I went to the Sabres Red Wings game.
Yeah, funny you say that. We were only in the arena once in training camp. It was just a 2-hour practice at the arena, so I honestly never looked at the at the scoreboard. It wasn't on. Um, so I'm excited to see it and how it looks, and I've heard good things about it, and it was due. Like we needed a new one. Not to say our other one was bad. It was small and it was old and what was what you're seeing happen across sports where these big giant huge screens in the arena. It was a time to get a new one and I think it's going to be great for the fans. And like I said, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't been to a Sabres game. I don't actually live in Buffalo, so I don't get the chance to go to a lot of Sabres games. So yeah, looking forward to it and I think it's going to be a good experience for the fans.
Scott, I was reading you reside in Plymouth, Michigan, which I have family in Taylor, Michigan. I wanted to ask you this. I didn't follow the lacrosse back in the '90s, and I wish I did. Do you see a day that Detroit or the state of Michigan could get a pro lacrosse team again?
To be quite honest, they were pretty close. When the whole Panther City thing, went down late in the summer, Detroit was one of the groups that were interested in taking over that team. But, that was such an unfortunate timing of that whole thing that it was very hard for any group, not just Detroit. And if you really think about it, like, the Red Wings have that massive structure behind them with the Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers and the Ilitch family that, if they couldn't do it, I don't think anyone really could have. And like I said, it was just such unfortunate timing, and like we were in a no-win situation with that. And, unfortunately, the league had made the decision to, let's put it on the back burner for now and get the teams that we have here, steady and ready to go. And but I think, yeah, I think, like I said, they were very, very interested. They were one of the teams who came to us and said, "Hey, like we want to look into this." And there were some positive conversations, but like I said, at the end of the day, it was just the timing just wasn't right. And I think that will be fruitful down the road, and not just Detroit, and other markets as well. The other places that reached out to us and said, "Hey, we want to look into this." I think will be fruitful, in the years to come.
And just quick thoughts on Ottawa long term as the Black Bears.
They have that partnership with the Senators, and when you have that, that backing from an NHL or NBA team, it's huge. It really is. And we're one of those teams, obviously. And we have the like the resources and the manpower that can get things done that maybe some other teams can't. So Ottawa having the Senators involved, and I know from their aspect, because I've talked to Eric Baker, I've talked to Rich List, like they couldn't be happier there. And the partnership has been night and day, compared to what they were, what they were going through before. And they're happy. And, if they're happy and their attendance is up from what they were doing in New York, like it's all the better for not only them but for the league. So I think I think they're in a good situation there, and I think they'll last a long time there.
Scott, can you just tell my audience a little bit about your role as the Senior Director of Lacrosse Operations and the alternate governor for the Buffalo Bandits?
Yeah, so from the operations director standpoint, it's a lot of the day-to-day aspects of the team. Myself and Dan Ristine are the only two full-time Bandits employees. Everyone else within the organization, does whatever they do for the Sabres, they do for us. So if you're in ticket sales, marketing, all that, you do the same thing for the Sabres. So, Dan's really focused on the youth lacrosse programs and the school programs, like more so our community outreach programs, where I'm, a higher level. And the best way to kind of explain it is I'm like an air traffic control between, our organization and all the different departments in the organization. And then, with the league, like you mentioned, I'm an alternate governor. I'm also on the broadcast and scheduling committee. So, I wear a few different hats that way, and like I said, sit on those committees and kind of, make sure everything's running smoothly and there's no, there's no gaps, there's no holes, fill in those whenever there's issues. And just kind of make sure that the team and the league are communicating properly, the team and the departments are communicating properly. And it honestly, it could be anything. It could be scheduling, it could be, travel, it could be contracts, it could be, any of the auctions, or like I said, the youth lacrosse programs that Dan looks after. Obviously I have a hand in those, but Dan really mans those on a day-to-day basis. So it's, I look after all of the staff, the medical staff, the training staff, the coaching staff, like they all report to me. So like I said, it's really, at a high level, it's just making sure everything is running smoothly, and when there's a fire, you put it out.
It's basically not your typical 8 to 4 job. Scott,
No.
you joined the Bandits in 2009. How much did you know about the Bandits and the National Lacrosse League when you joined the organization in 2009?
So I was I started with the Sabres, who obviously, own the Bandits and the arena. They're all essentially the same. So I started with them in 2004. So, I was in my early stages, I was selling tickets for the Bandits, and I was around the Bandits for a good 5 years prior to the position I have now. So I had experience with the team, but to be quite honest, like, prior to that, I had no lacrosse background whatsoever. I do have a sports management degree. So, being in on the business side of sports, it comes naturally for me. But, when it comes to lacrosse, I didn't know much of anything. My only exposure to lacrosse really was, growing up in Northern New York was Syracuse University. So, following the Gate brothers, following the Powell brothers, like that was my exposure to lacrosse. But box lacrosse is just a completely different animal than field lacrosse. And seeing the Bandits, even from those early years, the crowds they got, I mean, it blew me away because I'm like, I grew up 4 hours from here and never even heard of the Bandits until I started working there. So, it was the first couple years was a lot of, feeling out and trying to, figure out, what to do, how to do it, best way to do it, best practices. And now I'm coming in my, God, I don't know, 16th or 17th season. I can't remember now. It's kind of comes naturally to me now. So, it's been an experience that I wouldn't trade. And, I really enjoy my time with Buffalo. And, I mean, what better place to work in lacrosse than for the Bandits?
How much has the game of box lacrosse grown in the city of Buffalo, Western New York, and even to Southern Ontario as well?
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the Bandits, we started, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. We started our Junior Bandits program, which is box lacrosse only. And, traditionally in Buffalo, it's been a field lacrosse market, in terms of participation. And they do have a couple box leagues throughout the area, but we started that Junior Bandits program and it's really taken off. Now we have our college box program. So just from the Bandits itself, we've provided a number of opportunities from box lacrosse that wasn't there before. And now you're starting to see other box lacrosse programs, youth box programs pop up around the community. So it's great to see. We just started a girls program too, girls box lacrosse. So, it's definitely growing, especially on the box side. But field lacrosse is very popular in Western New York, and I mean, it's always been popular in Canada, right? Like it's hard to tap into that market because it's already been cultivated. It's already there. And I know their participation numbers are going up as well. So, it's great to see, and I'm pretty proud that the Bandits played a part in that. And we're going to continue to offer more programs, and wherever we see a need for another opportunity for kids to play lacrosse, we're going to provide it.
For those people watching this show live stream or on audio, Scott, and they've never been to a Buffalo Bandits game or a National Lacrosse League game, what would you tell them?
Um, if you're coming to Buffalo, I'd say just be ready for a little overload of of adrenaline. Um, it's like I tell people, it's sensory overload. It really is when you come to a Bandits game. And like I said, other teams do a great job as well, so it's not just specific to Buffalo. But if you're going to come to Buffalo, it's going to be loud, it's going to be energized, it's going to be an experience probably you've never experienced going to another sporting event. It's just so much different, and to be really ready for anything. And to be honest with you, back in the day, and even now, I still, believe it or not, I still talk to people or come across people or meet people within Buffalo who've never been to a game, or said, "Hey, I just went to my first Bandits game this past year, or this past week," and like I never realized how awesome it was, how fun it was, how like I said, energized it was. And I always ask them, I'm like, "Do you remember the score?" And they're like, "No, I don't." I'm like, "Do you remember who won?" They're like, "No, I don't." So whether we win or lose, you come to a Bandits game, you're gonna have a good time, and be prepared to be loud, to cheer, to just take it all in, and like I said, have an experience you've probably never experienced it before.
The word I would describe going to Bandit Land is passionate fan base. Everybody there is passionate.
Yeah, and I said earlier, they're passionate when things are good, and they're passionate when they're bad, and that's what a fan is. Like, if you're just gonna be passionate when things are good, like what do they call those fair weather bandwagon fans? Our fans aren't like that. When they're good, they show it, and when we're bad, they show it, and as they should, and that's what we want, and that's what makes them so unique and so special.
Scott, wanted to get this question too. What do you and the Bandits organization look for in the character of a future Buffalo Bandit, either in a draft pick, trade, in free agency?
Well, to be honest, I let Chugger, Steve Dietrich, our GM, and his staff, really make those decisions, when it comes to talent and what fits in with our team. Even though those guys report to me, I don't get too involved in the player personnel side of things. I know enough to know enough, and that's that I don't know as much as they know. I've always been told the smartest person in the room is the person who knows they're not the smartest person in the room. And when it comes to talent evaluating and stuff like that, I'm not the smartest person in the room. So, I leave that to, like I said, Chugger and JT and the coaching staff and the scouting staff to make those decisions. And the only thing I say to them is, we want good people who fit in. We don't want troublemakers. We don't want selfish guys. We don't want people who are not going to fit in a locker room. They're not going to fit in on the field. And I kind of let them run with that mandate. And there's never been a time where Steve or JT said we want this guy. Can we go get him? And I said as long as he fits the criteria that we've set as a team, go for it. And I don't even need to know who the player is or what's going on. I just let them do their thing, and it's it's worked out pretty well so far. So
I call this the Bandit way. I know people in Buffalo don't like to talk about the New England Patriots, but their 20-year they had the Patriot way, and you guys have the Bandit way. And what I see with this franchise is stability and consistency.
yeah, I mean we're not quite to the level of the Patriots yet. I mean they win 5 or 6. I mean we've got a good start here in this little run we're making, and hopefully we can get a couple more. Obviously you got to play the games to see what happens, but um, I mentioned earlier, like we like to do things first class, and that's from top to bottom. When a visiting team comes into the arena, they get treated first class. Just their players and staff get treated first class, just like we treat our players first class. So you're not going to see, you know, you know, back in the old days, and I call it the wild wild west. There's a lot of games being played, and you hear no heat in the locker room, and cold water and stuff like that. Like we don't operate that way. Like when you come in, if you're a visiting team, you get everything that you need. We try to make their jobs just as easy as we make it for our players and staff. So and I take great pride in that. And it trickles out to the fans as well. When you come to Buffalo, you're going to have a first class experience. And like I said, all the way around, we want to be known as that top tier team, not just lacrosse, but in sports.
And myself doing this for a third year now, you guys treat me like a part of the team, and it feels like family when I come down to the KeyBank Center, just getting to know everybody. And the players and the coaches have been really supportive of my work too, Scott. And again, I want to say thank you for that. Before we wrap this up, Scott, I wanted to get your quick thoughts. In all-time great Buffalo Bandits and lacrosse players, where do you rank Dane Smith and Josh Byrne?
I mean, they're not done yet, which is the scary thing. If they were done, they'd be up there in that top echelon of Bandits players in history, and they're not done yet. So it's a tough question to answer because, like, where are they gonna end up? They're gonna end up probably at the top if they keep going the way they're going, and if they can play, 10 more years at least each. Like, I think you're gonna see a lot of records within the Bandits organization broken, and, we've already seen Dane break a lot of records in the league. So, um, I don't they haven't I don't think they've hit their peak yet, and, it's nice to see, how Dane's kind of revolutionized his game in terms of, he started out as a defenseman, then he transitioned to an offensive player, which is what he was to begin with. But then he was a scorer. Now he's a setup guy. Like it's just really really cool to see how he's transformed his game over the years. And I think as he gets older even the game itself evolves, I think he's going to evolve. He's done an exceptional job at that. And players like that last long. And I think I don't want to say it, but like I think before it's said and done, he's gonna, if not break it, come pretty close to JT's records. And Josh is just an athletic player that I feel like he can do anything out there on the field, one on one or even one on three. And for him, I like the scary thing with Josh is I don't think we've seen his best yet, and that's coming off an MVP year, a double MVP year. So, yeah, if I was any of those record holders or people at the top of the record books in Bandits history, I'd be sweating right now.
What I like about this Bandits team is obviously you have a lot of superstar players, but John Tavares and the coaching staff have gotten these guys to bought into the team first system, and that's cannot be easy for a coach like John Tavares, dealing with these superstars and just getting them to play into the Bandit way, the right way.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point and something, I don't want to say argue, but something I've discussed internally with Steve Dietrich is, I don't think JT gets enough credit. Like we've been on this run for, 4 or 5 years now. And I think JT gets overlooked when it comes to, coach of the year accolades or even being mentioned in the top three of those categories because they're like, oh, well, Buffalo's good. JT doesn't have to do anything. Well, and every coach will tell you this, there's more to coaching than just coaching talent. There, like you said, like there's a lot of superstars in this team. And I can tell you one thing, those guys don't think they're superstars. They think they're just part of, like, they're a cog in this wheel. They think they're part of the team. They don't look at themselves as superstars. But JT does a good job of making that atmosphere present because he's massaging these egos. He's making sure that the guys buy into the system, like you mentioned, and that starts with him. That starts with JT, and it's tough to take a team with all this talent and the success that we've had and keep it going, because like you see it in sports when teams reach the peak, they break up usually because the egos are hard to maintain, and he's done an exceptional job, and Steve Dietrich as well. And again, that goes back to what we talked about earlier is we try to find the right kind of player, from a talent perspective, but also from a locker room perspective of what we want in the team. And that starts with them, and they've done a good job of it. And then once they get on the field, it's JT's job to make sure that there's not egos, there's no me first type of mentality. And I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
And being the back-to-back champions, you guys are now the targets. And I just think John and Steve has done a great job. And obviously last year you guys had a bit of a struggle, but you guys managed to get through it and win back-to-back titles. And you're off to a good start this year with wins over Rochester and Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, I was on another podcast and I said I don't think we could have put ourselves in a better position this year. Like, I mean, what more can you ask for? And Ottawa and Rochester are not bad teams. Like you look at the scores and if you're not like a lacrosse fan or NLL fan, like oh wow, those teams must really stink. They don't. They are great teams, and quite frankly, every team in this league is great. It's a very very close league, and even though there's a first place team and a last place team, there has to be. And the difference between those two teams is not that the margin is not very big, and anybody can be anybody. And we've done a good job coming out hot this year. And if you really think about it, the team we have on the field now is that team that we had the second half of last season that went on that run. I think we from the midpoint season, we were 5-6 at one point, and then we finished like I don't know 17 and 8 or 9 or something. So we went on a pretty good run there between the end of the season and the playoffs. And I think now we're on an 11 game winning streak. So you know it, it's every season's different, right? There's no two seasons the same. you know, but I will say that, we started off slow last year, and like I said, started off 5-6, and then went on the run, and that can go the other way. We can start off 6-0 this year, and then you know, and then go 1-10. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not that's not like we think about that, and we just focus on the next game at hand, and again goes back to GT, keeping the guys at an even keel and the right mindset, and knowing that as tough as the league is, that things can change, and they can change rapidly, and teams that are struggling now could turn the page and be good, the second half of the season, just like us last year. So, we're with the mindset of let's win the next game. We don't talk about three-peat. We don't talk about let's do it again. Obviously, our goal is to win a championship. It's not a goal to win 3 in a row. But we're just taking it one game at a time, and hopefully we can keep this going.
It sounds similar to the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL approach. Their organization, they just won another great cup, and their attitude every week when I was dealing with them as media was, let's just win this one game, go 1-0 every week, and keep the focus there as well. And one thing I've learned about the National Lacrosse League, there are no gimme games, and how competitive and how talented the whole league is in general.
Yeah, you're right, there's not. And, there's you not even just Bandits related. You see across the league how many one-goal games there are, 1 or 2-goal games, and like I think the parity is, and yes, we only have 14 teams compared to the other leagues that have 30 plus, but like our league is just from top to bottom is just so much closer than anything else, and if you have one bad night, if you're not firing on all cylinders, if your defense is playing good but your offense isn't, like your goalie can stand on his head, but if your offense isn't scoring, the other team's going to beat you. So it's a very close league. You gotta be playing your A game, from goalie out, and if you're not, you're going to be in for a long night, and that just goes to show how far lacrosse has come in general, that the player pool is becoming more, is becoming a lot stronger, because there's more kids playing at an early age, and that's we're the end product of that, and how close our league is, and I don't think it's going to stop for a while.
And the one thing before I let you go, Scott, is the unified standings. It just puts more of an emphasis on every game because you want to be in those top 4 spots. Because that first round, that one game win or go home, you want that game in your own arena and not ideally being on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we were we were a product of that last year, right? We weren't gonna host that first round game until that last weekend of the season, and some things went our way, outside of our own games, and thankfully we were able to host that game. And do we win that game in overtime if we're playing in Georgia? Who knows? And you saw with Rochester, they had like a 1% chance to make it in the playoffs, and that last weekend everything went their way and they got in. And that's a product of the unified standings, but again, also a product of how close our league is. And I think the unified standings was a great idea from Brett in the league office to put that into play. And like you said, it makes every game that much more valuable and more important. And and I think it's great for the league when you come down to the last weekend of the season and you have no idea. It's not. I'm not. And it wasn't just one team that had it. It was a handful. It was like 5 or 6 teams that everything went their way. They had an opportunity to make the playoffs, and that's what we want. That builds excitement, that builds, something to look forward to. It builds, rivalries, and it was a great initiative. And I think if, once the league gets bigger, we're probably going to have to go back to the conference formats, just because it's going to be impossible to play everyone. But yeah, I think it's so far with the way our league's set up and the size of our league, it's perfect.
Maybe if you do come back on again in the future, Scott, I probably would like to talk to you or somebody from the league about possible playoff expansion because I really enjoy the National Lacrosse League playoffs, and I'm hoping one day the finals will go to a best of 5 from a best of 3, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to get there. We want more playoff games. That's our goal from a league perspective. but we have a lot of things that come into play that aren't into play with the NHL or the NBA, or Major League Baseball, who have the series. And it's just tough because our league and our teams are not, the primary tenant in their building. So like even getting the regular season dates from some of our teams because of the buildings they play in that are just so busy that's even tough. So to get more playoff dates at this point is going to be, it's probably going to be on the back burner for a little while. I think you'd probably see a 3-game series in the first round before you'd see a 5-game series in the finals. But again, it really is because of the situation that our teams are in the buildings, and once they can either get more control of their buildings or become a higher priority in some of those buildings, until that happens, you're probably not going to see an expanded schedule or even an expanded playoff schedule. It's just there's a lot of factors that go into something like that, and that's the biggest one is arena availability.
And Scott, what's the best way for fans to follow the Buffalo Bandits on social media and the Bandits website? And just quick thoughts on the opening night. What are you looking forward to most on Saturday night against a very good Rochester Nighthawks team?
Yeah, I mean, we're the Bandits are on all the social media platforms. It's NLL Bandits. Like I said, we're on all of those under that tag. Bandits.com obviously is the place to go. The banner raising, and I know we've talked about it, but just a reminder for everybody that game starts at 6:30. It's not a normal 7:30 start time. It's a 6:30 start time. The banner will be going up around 6:10, so make sure you're in your seats at 6:10, if you want to see the whole ceremony. But that game's on ESPN2, which I didn't even talk about, which is massive. Like that's going to go to 80 million households in the country. So like for that game itself, just to be on ESPN2 is massive, which is why it's a 6:30 game. They had that window open, so we changed the game to that window. And I gave an interview to Gertler for one of his articles, and I'll say the same thing I said to him, and I'll say to you, like I'm looking forward to putting up that another banner because Buffalo's been through a lot of heartache, a lot of turmoil over the last 5 years, between blizzards and the top shooting and the economy and just COVID, just everything that area has been through over the last handful of years. I feel very proud that we were able to bring something positive and exciting to the community. And I mean, I think our fans appreciate it. Like again, the building's going to be 19,000 screaming crazy Bandits fans, and that just shows how much the city needed something like this and how much they've gravitated to it. And looking forward to watching that go up there. And to be quite honest, once it gets up there, I'm going to be looking to the next to it to see if there's room for another one, because that's really what we're thinking about. It's nice to get this banner up and out of the way, but our goal is to get another one and do this again next year. So that's going to be a tall task. It's going to be hard to do, but I think we have the right group to do it, and hopefully it goes our way.
And I've got to email Ryan Gall today, and hopefully I will be down Saturday. I will be down Saturday. I'm just really looking forward to it, and dealing with Ryan Gall, I guess, who's your director of media communications for this season.
Yeah, he sent me the list of credentials, so I did see your name on there, so you're all set from that regard. And like a new thing this year in the press box is, we're gonna give pizza and chicken fingers. So there's gonna be a meal up there. It's not gonna be prime rib and potatoes, but it'll be a nice little meal for the media, which we haven't done in the past. And like I said, that goes back to we want everyone to feel first class and feel appreciated. So like I said, your name's on that list, and there'll be food up there for you.
Well, Scott, I apologize for keeping you more than 25 minutes, but I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. And you have an open invite to come back on my show again. And I love the National Lacrosse League at the Bandits, and I'm still learning about the sport. And I'm really pumped up about coming down Saturday at the KeyBank Center. And hopefully I'll be able to say hi to you in person at the arena before the tip off at 6:30.
Yep, sounds good. We'll be there. We're ready for you, and we're looking forward to it. So yeah,
Thank you
have
so much.
safe travels down, and we'll see you Saturday.
2 hours goes by quick when you're going somewhere that you enjoy. So thank you so much, Scott, and continued success with the Buffalo Bandits, and looking forward to the big game against Rochester. Have a great day, Scott, and again, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thanks. Same to you. Take care.
You too. All right, guys, that concludes Season 9, Episode 32, overall 472 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. Again, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and Wellington Brewery here in Guelph. I want to say thank you so much to my guest, Scott Loffler, the Senior Director of Operations and alternate governor for the National Lacrosse League's back-to-back world champion Buffalo Bandits. And the Bandits are back in action this Saturday, December 28th at 6:30, face-off at the KeyBank Center between the Rochester Nighthawks and the Buffalo Bandits. And as Scott was saying, it is banner-raising ceremony, so they're asking the fans in Banditland to get to the seats by 6:10, and they're going to be raising another banner. And the game will be on ESPN2 nationally, and also on the Bet 1520 AM in Buffalo with the longtime voice of the Buffalo Bandits, John Gerkler, and Steve Bermel, along with Dave Buchanan. And I'm really pumped about it. The Bandits are off to a good start with back-to-back road wins against Rochester and Ottawa. And again, if you've never been to a Bandits game, check out their website, bandits.com. You can get tickets and information about the team there as well. And check out the National Lacrosse League site, nll.com as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, I'm going to play a little clip of the Bandits' last victory against the Ottawa Blackbears. It was 18-7 the final, but this game was closer than the score indicated. And this highlight film is courtesy of the National Lacrosse League's YouTube channel. So this is the Buffalo Ottawa highlights from a couple weeks ago. Bandits won this game.
Ball in his stick, works towards the middle. There's a shot, scores! Right over the head of Matt Vince. Great feed from O'Connor. It gets that defense moving. Good chance in front. Let's go down to Ashley again.
Yeah, Pat mentioned it. You'll see Ian McKay.
There's a chance and a Buffalo goal. The big pieces in this offense. Yes, we talk Bird. Yeah, we see so often in the National Lacrosse League.
So Ottawa 0 for 1 on the man up. Centering pass again comes right in front of Higgins, but no one home to pick it up. Now a battle inside. There's another opportunity. They score.
Beauty from behind the net. This is a loose ball that Noseworthy and Stevens have to have.
6-on-5 Bandits. Dane Smith fires the pass over. Bird back to Smith. Big stop. Higgins. Somehow he got there to make a massive save.
Watch it on the corner of the screen, but watch this save. A little skip back and forth. Says Zach Higgins.
Smith trying to go around the pick. There's a chance, scores.
Dane Smith, fake drag, goes around the pick, gets it over to Byrne, and Byrne, quick ball moving. Get it from the righties to the lefty and a quick shot.
Kiernan to O'Connor. O'Connor, big save, Vince. 15 seconds to go, the shot clock is off. 6-on-5. Fraser to Dane Smith. Fires that pass, scores!
Real difficult to keep track. Look, extra attacker on the floor, and Dane Smith, as you don't see the Bandits give up those shots from the middle of the floor often.
In front to Cloutier, scores! Cloutier's got his second, make it 5 in a row for the Bandits.
Is nice, but how about this nasty feed? Little pick pop behind the back. And Cloutier throws that twister, but that little pick and pop matches draws the defense. And look at Dunbar, offensive player. That's just a heads up play for Cloutier to go with that backdoor cut.
Game going again, using some speed. Brownell back up top. Ronjon in transition.
Grew up watching a lot of Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And Matt, another great opportunity.
McKay, transition, scores. McKay, hat-trick goal.
Second period, probably going to go out the back door. And this is the reason why. He can book it up the floor and throws that bouncer, confirming.
The Stouffville, Ontario native. Feeds it back to Teat. Teat winds, fires, scores!
He starts with the righties, gets over to the lefties. Big hard bump there from
Buffalo 1 for 1 on the man advantage, right back to business. Bird quickly inside, and they get another one. Fraser on the power play.
double seal from the top, a scissors play, and then it's just skip pass, bang. A spark plug for this offense.
Smith scores!
Because he kind of got caught in a rock, in between a rock and a hard place. Look, he's looking. Well, you know what? No one's going to slide at me. I'm going to shoot the ball.
Picked up by Weiss. Chance to transition. Weiss, the hometown boy, yes!
They're scoring 6 on 5 on the power play.
Back into the stick of Dane Smith. Been the setup man tonight. Buchanan scores!
Family and friends as the Nepean Nightmare cashes in on the crease. Look at that little slip pick.
Teat up top, fires, scores! Off the post and in.
So many different tricks in their bag. They get the ball behind, goal line extended.
Nothing towards the net. Back to Chase Fraser. In below the net, a little top play, yes!
Of the game. His 4th goal. Plays offense, plays defense.
Whitty separates. Back down the other way. Here's Buchanan. Plays playmaker. This one is in the crease. No goal. McKay thought he had 5.
So it's going to be that slash on Dawson.
Teat's got a pair tonight. The tease runs a little interference for him. There's a shot, scores!
From the Bandits. That's exactly how you got to make this Bandits team.
For the Ottawa captain, Taggart Clark on the floor. Back to Teat. Winds, fires, scores!
In that spot last week, Matt, we saw some players, including
Back into Ottawa's favor. Centering pass in front. Teat trying to close this in. O'Connor has the chance in front.
bit of a broken play. Chance goes wide.
Josh Byrne again into the middle. Smith, a little bit of space. Shot, scores!
Oh, stops the bleeding, stops the run. As Chase Fraser gets that.
Byrne in tight. Falling and scoring is Buchanan. He's got a pair.
Kyle Buchanan, look, creeps behind the net. Slips on the turf.
Oh, Buffalo leading by a 7 spot. Uche, spin move to the net. Scores!
And jams it home. Nasty call.
Nanticoke up top. Byrne scores!
In each of them. 3 straight assists. And then gets in on the scoring. Hammers that bouncer.
Looks like Finn's also getting a little bit of a break as well as they come in and score.
Statement that let's not forget.
Scanlon, his NL debut tonight. That side, and Dunkerley's got the save. The ball is loose. It was jarred free. Comes back to Nanticoke. Scores.
Come up with a game plan to play this team. But how about Ian McKay?
That clip was courtesy of the National Lacrosse League and TSN on their YouTube channel. So the Bandits get a nice big win in Ottawa, 18-7. The Bandits' first 2 games were on the road in Rochester and Ottawa, and the Bandits are 2-0. They beat Rochester 15-7, Ottawa 18-7. But those games were closer than the scores. The Bandits just dominated the fourth quarter in those games. And the Bandits' home opener is this Saturday, December 28th, 6:30 face-off at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. You can get tickets at bandits.com, but I believe Scott was saying this game is sold out. They're expecting over 19,000 fans there. And if you can't get down to the KeyBank Center, you can watch it on ESPN2 nationally, as well as 1520 The Bet with the longtime voice of the Buffalo Bandits, John Gerkler, and Steve Burmo and Dave Buchanan, who do a great job on the radio coverage as well. And I'm really appreciative of the Buffalo Bandits bringing me back for a third year as freelance media covering this team. So check my social media pages for pictures, videos, and some pre and post game interviews as well. I'm looking forward to seeing my friend and longtime Buffalo Bandits public address announcer Chris Swenson, or known as Swenny. He does a great job as a public address announcer and getting the fans going. And Ellie Brady, who's the in-game arena host, does a great job as well, and the Bandits as well. So I'm really looking forward to being back at the KeyBank Center Saturday in Buffalo, and it looks like the weather is going to be, I think, +7 Celsius and rain there. So it's just like being at my second home at the KeyBank Center for the Bandits. So Bandits, Nighthawks this Saturday night, 6:30 face-off. Fans need to be in their seats by 6:10 to see the banner raising ceremony as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show will return on Sunday, December 29th at 10:30 in the morning with my special guest, Latasha Hughes. She is a stand-up comedian and a wellness coach. So we're going to talk to Latasha, how she got into the comedy industry and as a wellness coach as well. So please tune in to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership in Wellington Brewery. Again, this Sunday, December 29th, 10:30 a.m., another morning show with Latasha Hughes, stand-up comedian and wellness coach. Looking forward to that show as well. And before we wrap up this show, guys, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is sponsored by Wellington Brewery, founded in 1985, located at 950 Woodlawn Road West in Guelph, Ontario. Website is wellingtonbrewery.ca. You can call them at 519-837-2337 and try a Welly on. And please remember to drink responsibly as well, especially this time of the year. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy Hanukkah as well. As always, guys, if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road here in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals up for adoption, their profile are on the website, cambridgehumanesociety.org, and they're also doing a monthly 50-50 raffle draw, which is going to be taking place on December 31st. Their jackpot right now is over $15,000. The winner gets half that $15,000. So you can still purchase tickets through cambridgehumanesociety.org. Click on events and you can get your ticket. The draw is on December 31st, and the jackpot right now is just over $15,000, and the winner gets half that as well. And the money and proceeds go back to the animals in need at the Cambridge District Humane Society. And I'm also still selling 2025 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for $10 only, cash. Or you guys out of town that want to buy a calendar, you can PayPal me at cpomay19@gmail.com. I am on PayPal, cpomay19@gmail.com if you're out of town. $10 plus shipping as well. And if you're looking to volunteer, you can do it through their website as well. And I really enjoy volunteering down there once or twice a week, walking dogs. So hopefully you guys can support the Cambridge District Humane Society. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And just to make an announcement, guys, I am now on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is the newest form of social media. It was created by the founder of Twitter. So look for me on Blue Sky. And my profile name on Blue Sky is Live with CDP19. That's Live with CDP19 on Blue Sky. It's another form of Twitter X, and I really enjoy it so far. So please follow me and like my posts there as well. You can check out my website at beacons.ai/Christy Pomay. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is sponsored by Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West here in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycollin.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycollin.com. Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership has been in Guelph since 1969, family run and operated, and I've been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet since 2000. I'm going on my 25th year. My 25th year as a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet. And if you're looking for a new or pre-owned GM vehicle or an all-electric vehicle or a Cadillac vehicle, check out barrycullen.com. And or pop by the dealership, and they have great customer service there, great staff, and great service as well. So I want to say thank you to Mark Cullen from Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring my show the last 2.5 years as well. Live with CDP t-shirts are coming soon. I'm doing a pre-order. I want to see who is interested in ordering a shirt. Shirts are going to be $20. They'll be in any color, and they'll be in sizes medium, large, extra large, double extra large, or 3 extra large. And the money for my shirts will go towards my radio and media show as well. So please DM me or email me if you're interested in supporting my show with a t-shirt. I'm a content creator on TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok at Live with CDP. Hit that follow and subscribe notification. StreamYard is, again, the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. If you're into webinars or podcasting, live streaming in general, check out StreamYard.com. I've been with StreamYard for 4 years. And if you're a business, check out StreamYard.com and contact their sales department as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Podcast Talk Show. The audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. Those are my audio platforms, and please remember to hit subscribe and like to them as well. Finally, you guys can email the show at Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpomay19@gmail.com. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated as well. And by the way, I am on Cameo Family. If you'd like a personalized video from yours truly, check out cameo.com and type in Chris Pomay, and make sure you book your cameos today as well. And before we wrap up this show, guys, 1 second before we wrap up this show, again, I'm on Blue Sky at Live with CDP19 at Blue Sky Social as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, we've got Thursday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears. A huge game for Seattle, who's trying to win the NFC West. The Chicago Bears are long been eliminated. So Seattle, Chicago tonight, 8:15 on Thursday Night Football. And on Sunday, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys rivalry. Dallas sucks, by the way. The best rivalry in the NFL, Philadelphia, Dallas Sunday. Dallas is 7-8 out of the playoffs, but they have been playing much better football lately. And the Eagles are coming off a devastating, tough loss, 36-33 to Washington. As of now, Jalen Hurts is doing concussion protocol, and it's questionable he'll be playing Sunday against Dallas. So it looks like it could be Kenny Pickett or even Tanner McGee, their third string quarterback. The Eagles just need one win to clinch the NFC East or the NFC West title again. The NFC East title. I talked too fast. The NFC East title with one win, and they can clinch that number 2 seed with a win against Dallas. The game was originally supposed to be at 4:25, but it's been pushed back to 1 o'clock as well. Joe Davis and Greg Olsen will be calling the game for Fox. Far as I'm concerned, Joe Davis and Greg Olsen should be the number 1 crew on Fox. I really like them as well. And yesterday, we had 2 Christmas games on Netflix. Both were duds. Kansas City 29-10 over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has come back to reality now, 10-6 and losing 3 games in a row. And the Houston Texans are now, I think, 9-7, being destroyed by Baltimore 31-2. I'm going to tell you this right now. Everybody in the NFL is talking about the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, the Lions, but in the AFC, don't sleep on the Ravens, Chargers, and Denver Broncos, those 3 teams especially. And in the NFC, look out for the Vikings, Packers, and the Los Angeles Rams. And as for the Kansas City Chiefs, 15-1, outstanding record. They won back-to-back Super Bowls, but their road back to the Super Bowl is not going to be easy. Believe me, I find there's a lot of good teams in AFC and NFC, and I don't think it's going to be necessarily a Buffalo Kansas City AFC Championship game. I do believe Kansas City will get to that game, but I really like the way the Baltimore Ravens are playing right now. And in the NFC, don't sleep on Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams as well. And as for the Eagles, I'm hoping the Eagles can get back to their winning ways against Dallas Sunday at 1 o'clock as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my special guest today, Scott Loffler. From the Buffalo Bandits. He is the Senior Director of Operations and the alternate governor for the Buffalo Bandits. And I really appreciate Scott giving us some time today. And I want to wish Scott and the Buffalo Bandits all the best in the 24-25 NLL season, and really looking forward to coming down to Buffalo this Saturday for their 6:30 face-off against the Rochester Knights, and they're going to be raising banner number 6, the 6th NLL World Championship banner at the KeyBank Center. And again, you can listen to the game on 1520 The Bet with Sean Gerkler and Steve Bermel, along with Dave Buchanan. 6 o'clock, I believe the radio broadcast will be, and ESPN2 is carrying the game at 6:30. I want to say thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet and Wellington Brewery for sponsoring the show, and thank you to everyone watching this live streamed and on audio platforms. And I will have this posted on my social media pages later on today. And next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, Sunday, December 29th, 10:30 a.m. with my guest Latasha Hughes, stand-up comedian and wellness coach. I hope everybody has a great day. Again, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, and we'll see you back here Sunday morning at 10:30 for another edition of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and Wellington Brewery here in Guelph. Have a great day there, everybody, and thanks again for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show.